Hi, welcome to the latest in the ECIST podcast series. My name's Nick Holding. I'm an improvement manager with the Emergency Care Improvement Support Team. I'm joined today by Mark Ellis, who's also one of our improvement managers. We're going to be talking about a new Alliance 16 improvement program that we're running across the country, launching tomorrow. Mark, tell us what the Alliance 16 program is all about.
So I think the best way to describe the alliance would be to consider the three strands in our vision, our original vision, in that we wanted to set up a clinically led network of good practice across the NHS in England that had a unified purpose. So we very much focused on 16 hospitals initially, but our ambition really for the program is that that could be extended to another cohort. We wanted the program to be data driven. I think it's fair to say we've had a bit of a preoccupation in the last few years on high level data, but we wanted to use this opportunity across the alliance to consider more data for improvement and data measurement for improvement. So we're going to be using that as an opportunity to work with organizations. And finally, we wanted to do something meaningful and something different, and I think that's where we focused our strand on co-design and actually getting those partners in the alliance involved in the design of the program.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it, about how we involve the people who are involved in the work. So, do you see that as being a key difference to different types of work that we may have done in the past around, which may have been seen as like a collaboratives or other programs? Is this a key difference where it, there isn't a preconceived idea of what the program looks like? Is that fair?
Yes, indeed. And I think we've got a legacy of improvement programs in the NHS that have been very much predetermined before they've actually hit the people delivering the service. So I think this is a real opportunity to build on some of the extraordinary expertise and talent within the NHS that we have, and actually get people involved in the co-design process. I've certainly worked in collaboratives in the past, and they have been a bit predetermined, I would say.
Yeah, and looking at a definition of a collaborative, you feels like it's people coming together to work on a particular problem,
Mhm.
and are they sometimes more, uh, as you say, predetermined, and we're just trying to get people to come along to our way of thinking, and so is it collaboration or is it coercion? I think that's
Mhm.
sort of debate around that. I think so very much around designing the service, designing the improvement program based on the individual needs of the 16
Indeed.
individual organisations. So will it be a case of there is an end goal, and you can describe the end goal here or the anticipated outcome, but but how you get there will be agreed by the individual organisations. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, indeed. I think fundamentally what we're looking for as a result of the program in 6 months' time is an improvement in patient outcomes. First and foremost, we are looking to some kind of uniformed improvement in terms of length of stay reduction across the 16 organisations, but we're also looking to building a community across the alliance as well.
So is there any kind of menu or options that the organisations can pick from, or is it really just a blank piece of paper that we put in front of them?
Yes, the organisations will be going through a four-stage program, starting with discovery, which is a stage where we will be having conversations with each organisation, clinically led conversations, where we will discuss a menu of support. Now, this menu of support is not exhaustive, but it certainly contains the fundamentals or foundations of in-hospital length of stay. So criteria to reside, for example, criteria-led discharge, frailty. But that conversation will actually unpick some of the data relating to length of stay, and hopefully map that against an improvement support offer.
So it feels like there's a real focus on really truly understanding what we want to do first. So having a period of leading where we're trying to understand what we need to do first before we launch into any improvement work. And again, that feels like a different approach.
Yes, and I think You know, the old adage of data without observation and discussion is folly, really, and we're using a collaborative consultancy approach. So again, going in and discussing with people what they think the opportunities may be, what they think the areas of support they may need. This is somewhat of a departure from our kind of model of recent years, where we have gone in with a predetermined list of things we can offer. We are now going to the alliance to actually find out what we can help, you know, best help support them with. But I think the biggest strength in this particular program will be the alliance, will be building that network, will be the opportunity of sharing good practice across 16 organizations very rapidly, but also sharing some of the challenges.
Yeah, that's really important to learn, isn't it? How we
Mm.
learn from ourselves, but also from each other. I think that learning thing will be really critical. And as we go towards the end of the program, you're really building in levels of a research program as well into this, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. And it's very much a learning point for me as well, because we are building in some evaluation. We've got a fantastic clinical associate, Dr. Liz Lees Deutsch, who will be leading that work. But we also want to learn what worked well, what didn't work so well, so that can inform the next cohort.
So you anticipate this is a learning opportunity that will inform whether we take it forward again, because again, sometimes we just continue things without checking back in. You
Mm.
anticipate that there could be a second cohort, so it's not just the first 16, the special 16. There's chances for future cohorts
Mm.
later on.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, what are the key things that we should be looking out for across the program? What are the what's the what's going to feel like from your perspective? You're leading it with your colleague Andy Aldridge. What are the highlights that you think are going to be they're going to be there that we should be looking out for?
Right. So the program is as I mentioned, it's a four-stage program that starts with discovery. We'll then move into an action period from April to September, where sites, and very, very hopefully soon, sites will get on-site support from ECIST. But during that 6-month period, we're also going to be running a series of webinars. We've committed doing no less than 2 a month. We'll be able to share resources during that 6 months. We will have a series of live events. You're kindly doing a series for us as well, Nick, on improvement science as well. So thank you very much for that. But following that action period, we'll move into evaluation, and where we'll undertake sort of that, and then following that we're going to move to a graduation phase, because there are opportunities in this program for nursing staff, for example, to get accreditation. So it's a four-stage program. So if you're looking at the milestones over the next 6 months, they will probably be that.
Brilliant. So it's a clearly defined program as well. So there's a clear start point and a clear end
Yeah.
point as well. So it doesn't end up drifting, and that gives some focus to the work as well. So we're launching tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? Just give us a brief overview of the plan for tomorrow.
Yes, the excitement is mounting. So we've brought together all 16 hospitals and our regional teams to share with them our vision, the structure of the program. As I may have mentioned, the program is actually part of the Reducing In-Hospital Length of Stay program for NHS England, and that particular program is led by Amanda Howard. So Amanda Howard is going to be sharing some words with us. We're also going to be hearing about networks. We're also going to be looking at use of data, and we're also going to be having quite an exciting interactive session on what will help and what support the organisations will need.
Brilliant. So it all kicks off tomorrow, and then we'll have some updates as we progress. Perhaps we could come back and do a follow-up podcast at some point as the program moves on, and maybe bring some of the other organisations in, and they can tell their story, how they're getting on as well. We've got 16 to choose from, so we anticipate there'll be some good stories that come out of that.
Yeah, be delighted, Nick.
Brilliant. Mark, thanks a lot for your time today. This podcast will be uh, out today, and we have put plenty more for you to go and look at on our ECIST podcast channel as well on our playlist. So do go and look at the rest of the series on there. But for now, Mark, thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks a lot, Nick.